Good morning, guys. Welcome in. Welcome. How are you guys all doing? Welcome in, everybody. Oh boy, am I happy to be back in my home. I hope you guys are ready to dive into it. We have a lot to go over this morning. Welcome in, guys. Welcome in. It is a beautiful, snowy morning. Express, you missed the A. You missed the A. I like Atlanta, but I love my setup. Welcome in, guys. Dictator mods and Honey Drip muted you. Arias, yep, they'll get you. They'll mute me too. Rick the Ruler, good morning, man. Rick the Ruler's here. Nash, welcome in. Can we start looking at IWM more? Yes, we can do that. D-Boy, nice to meet you this weekend. Well, awesome. Sean, welcome in. Barbara, welcome in. Yeah, the Wi-Fi was terrible. I couldn't do anything. I was trying to trade and I couldn't do anything. Welcome in, guys. Let's dive into it. So we have a lot to go over this morning. It is Monday. It is December the 15th. We are there, right? Just a few more days left of 2020. This guy's look at this guy goes, why aren't you telling me about the meetup? We had a meetup. You knew it was there. We're having another one though. Don't worry. We will have another meetup in January, likely in January or even possibly February. So don't worry. There'll be more of them. Aristotle has a new spot in Atlanta now. So it's going to be an awesome place that me and Mike, Rav, and all the other admins will hop over and we'll do a meetups and such. So guys, let's dive into it. Today is December 15th. We don't have any time for tomfoolery. It is Monday. Let's lock in. Let's lock in. I can't read the chat for a little bit. I'm just gonna lock in and go over what's happening here in this beautiful Monday morning. Okay, so this week is important. It probably is the last important week of the year. Okay. Now I don't want to say last important week, but it is the last week where we have a full trading week. It's a full trading week, guys, and we have data, lots of data, and we have things happening, lots of things happening. Okay. Monday session, we have some Fed speakers. We have Moran speaking at 9 a.m. or 9:30 rather. So right at market open, we got Moran on the docket. Okay. We have housing market index at 10 o'clock. I would venture this. 10 o'clock, waiting for 10 o'clock data today probably is a smart decision, especially after going into a weekend where it's now Monday. We want to collect data. I think waiting to post 10 o'clock is going to be the optimal decision. Now, granted, do I do that? I don't know if I will do that, right? Do I do what I say? Not always, right? So I'm just saying for yourself, probably 10 o'clock, wait till post 10 o'clock for some bias today because you do some 10 o'clock data and then get trades after that. Let's see what happens though, right? Obviously, it is at 10 o'clock and it's not huge data. I don't want to say it's huge data, but I think that you do want to be, as always on Monday, what are you, right? We're not traders on Monday. I'm not a trader. I'm just a data collector. At some point today, I become a trader again, right? I'm a data collector until I am a trader. And eventually that shift may happen after 10 o'clock, right? So let's see what happens today. Obviously, right, some big data, some data at 10 o'clock, okay? On the Tuesday session, we have some big data, okay? And you see all the reds, these two reds. You have employment data tomorrow morning at 8:30 a.m., which is going to be probably the biggest data for the week up until Thursday session, where you have CPI. So big data on Thursday session or Tuesday session, and also even bigger data on Thursday session. And whenever you have CPI, consumer price index data, you have PPI shortly following, which is obviously or personal income and outlays on 10 o'clock. So some big things happening on our data ahead of us. You can see personal income 0.4%. So it's going to be an interesting release coming up on our PCE data. So let's see what happens there on our PCE data. Okay, existing home sales 10 o'clock, also Friday. And then what's Friday? Friday's quad witching. So Friday is going to be an incredibly volatile day. Let's be aware of that going into our Friday session. So let's move on. I am Big Low. I don't want to start announcing it yet until I don't want to start using it on the pre-market until everyone has access. So that's why I haven't done it yet. But you're going to start to see I'll begin to use it more and more. So on our Monday session, in terms of our earnings reports, it's nothing until probably a Wednesday session, Micron. Let's not spend too much time here because this is not what's important. Let's move on to our charts today, and let's discuss the elephant in the room today, which is our SPY chart, SPY. So guys, also, I'm going to go over a little bit of Netflix today. I'm going to talk about Netflix and what my plan is here. So if we have time today, we'll discuss this long-term idea. If we don't discuss Netflix today, I'm going to discuss it tomorrow, right? I'm going to try to get to this today. But if we don't go through today, I will discuss it tomorrow in the pre-market. Okay, so let's dive into our SPY chart, SPY, and let's talk about what's happening here on SPY chart. So on Friday's session, we got in a hurricane sell-off day, right? Hurricane sell-off day. The market sold off pretty aggressively without any buyers until around 10:30 in the morning. And 10:30 in the morning, it bounced off of, in my opinion, the most important level we have in front of us, right? This level here, 679 on SPY. I would have made probably a lot of money on Friday. By the way, I don't know. On Friday's session, I actually lost $500 on Friday. I didn't say that to anybody at the event, but I was actually down $500 because I couldn't get any more trades. I was trying to take trades, I couldn't even do anything. My internet was so bad that I actually was red on Friday. It's like almost every time I travel, I have these periods of time where I just can't get out of trades. And so on Friday, I couldn't get out of my trades. And then on this bounce trade here, I did get a little bit of it, but I wasn't able to get it on size. This was my top watch. This is my 679 top watch. And why was this level so important? It was so important because it was your ES. It was your ES level, right? It was your ES. Look at this ES level. Look at SPY 679. Look at the ES level here. ES 6,800 flat on the dot on the penny. I mean, this was your bounce opportunity on Friday. So in my opinion, it actually was a really good day on Friday. Friday, you guys were all hitting all these shorts, and I was watching everyone print money. But the big downside move was wow into lows, but then actually presented some opportunity to the upside here, right? And this was your big upside move here back in the highs. And so 6,800 ES level was your demand, and that is your demand today. So let's go back to SPY. By the way, am I lagging at all, guys? Is there a slight lag? No, I don't think so, right? Can you guys let me know? Is it lagging? Is it lagging at all, or is it smooth? It's smooth? No. Okay, good. That's the one thing about my Wi-Fi. You can't mess with my Wi-Fi over here. My Wi-Fi is good. Rav's Wi-Fi, I don't know whose Wi-Fi is worse, Rav or Mike. I feel like Rav's Wi-Fi is worse. My Wi-Fi is great. Good. All right, that makes me happy. So on our SPY chart, big colossal downside day, right? Big downside day, but again, we got bought up off of demand. So when you look at this chart now, you zoom out for a second. There is a little bit of lag. See, look, I should not have said anything. There's a little bit of lag now, right? Now I'm noticing lag. It's a little bit of lag here. You know what's lagging is my trading view is lagging. Yeah, you know what? I should not have said anything. I just absolutely jinxed myself. I jinxed myself, guys. But here we are. Okay, so on this chart here, you can see that we have a big resistance in front of us, which is 689 on SPY, and then our demand zone below is 679. So basically, we've produced a $10 range here, a $10 range. We rejected off of our supply here from Friday, and we moved back down to demand here on Friday. So you saw the colossal supply rejection come in at supply, and the colossal demand hold here come in at support or at demand. And so what we've done here is we've just stayed in range, right? The big sandwich, right? The big mega sandwich, the big resistance and big demand, we are still holding. And at this moment, if you actually take a second to look at this, what's the midpoint between 689 and 679? The midpoint between 689 and 679 is right here, just about right here, right? Not precisely, but just about right here. And that's where we are opening up in the pre-market session, right? So the pre-market session, we are opening up at the midpoint between a big supply and a big demand zone. And my bull bear pivot today session is technically 685. So 685 is my bull bear pivot. If we're above 685, I'm looking mostly for longs on a continuation play higher. If we're below 685, I'm looking for the lower high to form here and a downside move, right? But again, only as far as megalodon level supply or megalodon level demand, right? Because what I'm saying essentially is that yesterday's on Thursday or Friday session, we saw supply rejections come in, but supply rejections came in only as far back as demand, right? 679. And so this morning, we need to see if we're going to move back into demand or supply again, which is 689, or if we're going to move back into supply or demand again, which is 679. And so if you're trading today's session, I would use 685 as your inflection point, right? And expect that we still have demand below and supply above. If we can break above 689, the Friday's highs, we're gonna see if we break above this high here, if we break this level right there at this moment, then we're going to see us do this, right? This will happen. This is the most likely scenario above 689. If you see us break down beneath 679, then you're gonna do this and go back down to 675, right? And so those are my two things I'm watching this morning here on SPY is basically seeing this. Do we break above supply? If then upside, do we break below demand? If then downside, or 685, use that as your pivot today. We move back into supply or we move back into demand, right? So again, a lot of the things I'm saying here are pretty obvious. And I think most people know this already, right? I think most of us know this already. And the one thing I'm going to reiterate here is the fact that our level of information right now, traders operate off of like asymmetric information, right? If I know a little bit more about the market than I think other people do, I have some edge in the market and I can make money. Right now, my edge is I just don't. We have no directional bias right now. You see what I'm saying, right? Because we're just big downside day off demand at the midpoint. So be a data collector is what I'm trying to say here. Okay, on the ES chart, you can see ES rejected off of the big supply zone. I think Mike spoke about this in detail on Friday, and Mike was absolutely right about this. Look at what he said on Friday morning. He said, if ES fails below 6,900, look for downside and then move down lower. And this was a 100-point downside move. I wish I wish that this was this. I think Rav took the short, right? I think Rav got the short, but Mike and Rav are talking about this pre-market, and they were absolutely right about this huge downside move. And then I spoke about the 6,800 level demand in the chat, and this was my long spot. I made some money in this trade, but again, this was your big long was right here at this exact low, which was 6,800 ES, and your support or your resistance level was right here, the level Mike and Rav are shorting off of on Friday, right? This is the level they shorted off of. This is the level you could have longed off of. Now today, where are we? We're back at the midpoint. We're back at the midpoint. Right? Nothing's really changing here, right? We're still within that range of Friday session. And so if you look at this chart now, move that one level. We're back at the exact midpoint, which is, in my opinion, it's 60. It's that high from Tuesday, the 9th of December. Okay. So if we are back above this 6870, we're moving back in these highs over here. If we fail back below 6870, we see potentially a lower high form here, or then we're going back down into 6800. So it's either this today or it's this today. And again, new traders who are coming into this pre-market wondering, wow, this guy just showed us the level and said it's going to go higher or it's going to go lower. Yeah, that's exactly what I'm doing, right? That's exactly what I'm doing this morning because the bias is not formed yet, right? We're just looking at levels and we're going to see how the market reacts to these levels to then dictate how we take our trades today. Again, data collection days on Monday, right? Let's move on, guys. Let's move on. Let's go over our next chart. Let's go over the QQQ. So moving on to QQQ chart, demand below, right? Demand below, supply above, 620 supply. Look, here's the thing. On the SPY chart, we have more of a bias that's neutral, right? It's more of a neutral bias. On the QQQ chart, I can see a strong reason why you might come in today's session with a bear bias, right? And this is important because SPY is at the midpoint of Friday's big downside day, but QQQ is actually structuring lower here, right? We did move into demand here on the Friday. You can see Friday 614, we held demand as your big support. But we someone said, Brett, move your big head. Hold on, you know what? Let me do this. I'll make my face a little smaller. Okay, there we go. That's a bit better. So you have a reason to be more bear bias here on this chart. And the reason why is because we're underneath a series of lows here at 620, which I think is incredibly important. So if you are watching for shorts today in the Qs, your top watch for short, I think, is right here, 620, 620, 620, 620, 620. If you see us fail at 620s today, that's your short side move down lower, right? So 620 is your short side play. So right now, SPY is neutral, right? It's absolutely neutral. We can't change that. But QQQ is bearish. It's bearish. As long as Qs are under 620, it's bearish. So if you see us today popping at 620, in my opinion, it's a short, right? And so you can see, why is it a short? Well, if you zoom out to maybe even a smaller time frame here, you can see, well, look at this low here produced on Thursday, right? The Thursday low. See that big low produced on Thursday? I don't care about this low over here. That's not what I'm interested in, right? This low right here at 619.30 to 620, that low is the exact low that we see the beautiful bearish break and retest downside short come in on Friday, right? See this little downside short here? You can see this box right over here, right? This box over here is your short side box. Big break, retest, downside move, right? Flow, downside move. And so now on QQQ, we're still underneath that big flowing downside move. So if you're looking for retest shorts, it's here, right? So if you see us today's session do this, right? Then we're looking for shorts and possibly an entry for a short side play here in Qs. That's what I have here in QQQ today, guys. If we clear 620, we're going back into 622, which again is another leg of supply. 622 is another leg of supply to watch out for. So there's some big supply zones to watch out here in Qs, and obviously demand zone below here at 614. 614 is a critical level of support. Okay, don't do this today. Don't say, well, Brett said Qs are bearish, right? So I'm Tom. I'm Tom the shorter. I'm going to short this because I think it's a short side trade, right? I short. And I look for downside. Wow, oh my God, we were so right about this short. And then bam, wow, this guy has no idea what he's talking about, right? No, this is still support, right? So 614 is still support. Be careful of this level. If your name is Tom, you're going to short 614 today. Just don't do that, okay? So let's move on, guys. Let's go over the first ticker today's session. Let's go over Apple. So Apple Head and Shoulders is still alive. Apple Head and Shoulders still alive. Okay, this is still active. It's still an active Head and Shoulders, and the question is, what does this do? Does it clear above 280 and invalidate the Head and Shoulders? My top watch this week is going to be either does Apple break below 276, or does Apple break above 280? We are in a very tight range here, and in between this range, I don't want to get involved in this, right? I want to see us either break the 280s for us to invalidate that shoulder, the left-hand shoulder here, and invalidate the right-hand shoulder for upside, back and highs. Or I want to see us break beneath that downside move under 276 for a short side play back into 274, right? So my top watch today on this week, on this Monday morning, is going to be, can we break the range? Apple is a top watch because it's been consolidating for many days in a row, and we're going to keep watching it this week to see if it can actually make the move, right? Either above the 280s or below the 276s, because under 276 confirms the head and shoulders, right? This should be, if you are a head and shoulders trader, right? You have your left shoulder, your head, and your right shoulder. And so what we've done here is we produced a neckline here at 276. So your neckline here at 276 is your short side trade. So under these lows, you can look for downside and move down lower. Now, technically, we've seen this, which to me, is the only reason why I talk about upside on this chart now is because this to me is a win-win, right? Imagine you saw this, right? Imagine you were trading Apple and you saw this short present itself, right? This short presenting itself here under 276 looks incredible. And because it completely reversed that upside move, it leads me to believe that there are some shorts still kind of bag holding on Apple. And so if we do reclaim 280, it's going to accelerate the upside move because those shorts get stopped. So I am talking about bullish plays here on a head and shoulders hourly time frame bearish stock, but it's only because it's in range. And if it does clear this and invalidate the head and shoulders, then it's going to move higher. So above 280 or below 276 for a continuation move lower. This is one of my top watches this week to see what happens. Okay. Next chart, Amazon. Amazon also doing something really interesting here, guys. And Amazon, it may not seem so important right now, but it actually is doing something really important. It's holding 277. Okay, 227. I wish it was holding 277. If it was holding 277, I'd be very rich. I probably wouldn't be here today. But 227, it's holding, and for that reason, it is attempting to do something which in my opinion, it doesn't look beautiful yet. But if we can begin to reclaim some levels here, this could look good. And what is it doing? Well, it's holding a low here, right? So you have a low here, we have a higher low here, and we have an equal low here. So at this moment, it's setting up the move for us either to build above the 233s for a big squeezer upside move, right? And that would be your upside breakout trade. Or it's going to fail this low under 226, 225, and see a downside play back in the lows here. So Amazon, in my opinion, is actually tradable in both directions. It's bi-directional, meaning you can short it if it does break down beneath its recent swing low, 225, and that is your most clear inflection point. Last week, we collected the idea that this is a bull chart as long as it's above this low that it produced here. And as long as we are holding 225, we're looking for longs. So at this moment, I'm bullish here on this chart. I'm bullish on Amazon. In fact, I still have a trade here in Amazon open from last week. I keep saying this. I said my trail stop was 227. Then I said it was 226. Now I'm saying it's 225. But that's your real level now. It's 225, and this is my hard stop. If we're above 225, I'm bullish. If we're below 225, I'm bearish. But as of right now, I'm bullish, looking for longs back in the highs. My target here is back in 233 plus. If we can clear this level, back into 240, right? Amazon is a name to watch this week because it is forming a higher low. Okay, moving on, guys. Let's go over Nvidia. So Nvidia chart. Nvidia sold off some on this on Friday session, right? So Nvidia had an upside break, was strong off the gate, big upside break, and then it pulled back to 180, held 180, maintained 180, and this actually was a long on our Friday session, right? This was turned into a long on Friday session, but then eventually it fell back beneath it, and we saw some downside back into 177. Now today, where is Nvidia today? Well, Nvidia, if you take a second. And what I'll do is I'll use this lag as a water break. I'll use this lag as a water break. Once it loads for us, we're going to go over the larger time frame here in NVIDIA. And we're going to get a view of what's happening here on this 1 hour chart. Because you're going to see that NVIDIA is actually not breaking any critical levels of demand, right? It is supporting itself pretty well. Okay, and so if you zoom in here on NVIDIA's chart, you're going to see that the downside move that we saw on Friday, it didn't really break any levels. It just moved back into support, okay? And so what am I watching on NVIDIA today? My watch on NVIDIA today is going to be, can we reclaim 180? If we could reclaim 180, and this is the only thing I'd be looking for today, is if we reclaim 180, I'm looking for longs in this chart back to 185. So 180 is my bull bear pivot. It doesn't mean I'm looking for shorts today because we're under 180. It just means that I'm looking for 180 reclaims to go long. Okay, that's a very important idea here. Is my long side trade is above 180. If we can clear 180, my target's back to 185. Look, I don't know if I plan to touch NVIDIA today. It's not really doing anything of importance to me on this Monday morning. But if it does reclaim 185. 180. In my opinion, we should get the trade back into the Friday high at least, which is 183, and then possibly even 185. So again, this is your long side trade here on this morning. If it does happen, but again, it still is holding relatively weak against the market, right? So even when the market's moving higher on this Monday morning, right? Monday morning you have SPY moving higher. SPY's back into the midpoint of the Friday's downside play, right? But then Nvidia is at this moment not doing that yet. Nvidia is still relatively against the market, against the grain. So that's why I'm saying I don't think I'll be trading Nvidia today. I mean, let's see what happens. But if we see the reclaim happen over 180, that's your long side trade. Okay. Let's move on, guys. Let's go over a few other names. Let's go over AMD. AMD also same thing here, right? AMD didn't do anything on Friday, right? We saw some supply rejections, but then again, we've held demand down below. And so what we've done here in AMD is we've created a channel or a graveyard zone. The graveyard zone here on this chart is between 210 and 222. Guys, is it lagging? Like is the stream lagging at all? No, right? The stream is fine. I think the stream is fine. I just think it's my trading view lagging a little bit here. But I'll move on either way. It doesn't matter. So here, 210 is our big demand here on AMD. And you can see why is it demand? It's just a channel, right? It's a, yeah, stream is good. So it's just trading view. So 210, 210, 210, 210. So you know not to be a muppet and short back into 210, but you do know this, if we do clear under this level, right, under these lows, you should see continuation and downside play back into 195s. So as much as I want to be like bullish on chips, because I love being bullish on chips, I would argue that a short under 210 would be a good trade today. Okay, so 210 short, we see us break under 210, break beneath 210, it's a downside play. And in theory, what do you have, right? Remember we said that QQQ is bearish, right? So if you have Qs bearish and semis, which is a big component of the QQQ, maybe watching for a short side trade on this Monday morning on the chip side is not a bad idea. If we see this set up under 210, you could look for shorts today, right? So I do think this is a strong reason to be short is under that 210 level. Now I have one other level here on my chart, and I want to show you my one other levels. My one other level here on AMD is this. Let me just zoom into this chart. Let's zoom into this chart properly so you can see it. So I was looking at my other screen here to see if we can get it, but I didn't want to change time frames because I knew if I changed time frames, we're going to be spending 30 seconds waiting here. But it's this level right here. So you see this 218 area, right? 218 today. You could watch for the 218 pop and fade. So if you see us today's session popping into 218, 218, again, that's it's the breakdown from Friday. I think it was the big breakdown from Friday session. We could look for shorts at that 218 level. So if you're watching for AMD, I would be mostly structured on short side trades here. I'm looking mostly for shorts here at AMD. I'm looking for shorts at the 218, and I'm looking for shorts here at under 210 for a downside play. Okay, and the only reason why I get back bearish or bullish on the stock is transparently if it reclaims above Friday's highs. Above Friday's highs, we're back bullish again for an upside move, right? So above the Friday's highs, that's where things become shifted to a bull side chart, right? And then we're bullish again. But as of right now, it's weaker than the overall market. And I think usually the market, the weaker names, you don't really want to be long the weaker names, okay? So let's, usually, right? Unless you get a shift and it's Monday morning, we could see things shift. But as of right now, this is a chart that I would be more so looking for shorts on, okay? Let's move on, guys. Let's go over a few other names. Let's go over, and I think it kind of like, it looks back at AMD is like the same thing as Nvidia. Nvidia 180 is your bull bear pivot today. So if we reclaim 180, it's bullish, but if you see us fail today 180, it's bearish. So keep that on the back burner today, guys. It's Nvidia 180. It's AMD 218. Those are your big things to watch here on Nvidia. And just because we were long on Nvidia on Friday, it doesn't mean you can't shift to a bear bias here on Monday, right? Especially if you see us rejecting off 180. It's a very important idea here, okay? Let's move on. Let's go over some other things today. Let's go over the IWM, because I know that we had some requests today on the IWM. So let's zoom out into this chart here for a second. And you're probably going to see the most important level here on the IWM is this level right here. So would you consider this pullback enough for a long here? I mean, it's almost comical that it bounced a dollar early here. But this was probably your best trade here on the IWM. You can see it's oh, wow. I mean, just wow. Guys, this is a long. I mean, if we can pull back to 252, it's a long. I know it kind of bounced here on that Friday morning, right? But it's not enough, right? I don't think it's enough. Now, this is where I could be wrong, and my bias will kind of impact me here. But this is where this is the long. You can see it, right? This is your beautiful previous all-time high, highs and highs and highs and highs and highs and highs. And it's no wonder why people are asking for us to go over IWM. It's because this is a name that is doing a perfect break and retest of previous all-time highs. This is a long here. If you pull back into this demand zone, it's a long. If you're already long in the IWM, you should be happy camper and look for a move back above highs, right? This is a bullish chart right now. As long as you're above 252, it's a bullish chart, okay? Let's move on, guys. Tesla is really strong. Tesla has sliced its way through the dune, right? It's made its way through the sandstorm, and we're back at the area where it has supply, right? And I think that our bias was pretty right about this. We mentioned the idea that it was bullish, right? We said it's bullish as long as it holds 436, 436 held, 436 held, and then it ripped up higher on Friday session. Now, I didn't trade this at all. Through this whole big bullish upside move, which you talked about, I didn't trade it at all. Should I have? Maybe I should have traded this because this was actually a really nice chart. But here's the problem now, guys, is if you remove everything, right? And actually, if you just be smart about this for a second, right? Remove everything. Where are we? Where are we? We're back at the previous all-time highs here, right? And so this chart has made its way back to previous all-time highs, and it's obviously still bullish, right? It's obviously still bullish, but just because it's bullish, it doesn't mean we can go, crazy, all horned up and long Tesla today. I mean, Tesla, wow, Tesla pre-market's going crazy, right? It's crazy in the supply, guys, and Tesla pre-market gap up is the perfect storm to trap bulls, right? It's the perfect storm. And even if this keeps rallying, I don't care. I don't mind, right? I would rather miss the trade than be the bull that gets trapped up in supply, right? Because if you guys remember, the long spot, in my opinion, like where I would be longing a chart like this is here. This is where this is where I'm involved, right? This is where I like to be, back in demand, maybe back in demand over here, and maybe I hold some runners. Maybe I get lucky and hold some runners back in these highs. But at this moment now, if you don't have runners on Tesla, you kind of just leave it alone. And then you look for pullbacks to dip into. And your pullback long here is 456, because over here, we're back at supply right now on this chart. Between 472 and 467 is supply here in Tesla. And you want to look for a dip to rip into, right? And your dip rip is going to be 456. So if you see us pull back into this level over here, this low over here, and you see us develop a low here, a demand entry here, this is your entry. Here's your entry, right? So 486, the high from the Wednesday, the 10th session, in my opinion, that's our long spot today session, okay? Let's go over MOH for our friend in the chat. He's been asking for MOH patiently all morning. We'll do MOH. And we'll also do UPS very briefly, and we'll finish off the stream, guys. So MOH is bouncing off demand, guys. You know what's going to happen here. If you hold demand 1, we're going into supply 2. Demand 1, supply 2. So at that moment, this is what I think is going to happen here. Look, again, there's no day trades here. There's no short-term trades here. It's holding demand. At this point, look for it to move back into supply. Okay, that's what it is here on this chart. Your target's probably back into 190s here on MOH. Moving on, guys. UPS. Let's go over UPS. One last ticker. UPS. So UPS also is. Look, UPS traditionally does well during the season, right? There's seasonality on UPS when it comes into the December. So think retail and ship names or shipping names, anything that benefits from what's it called, the holiday season, typically has some seasonality here, positive seasonality. Now, this to me is not just seasonality; it's also at a huge demand. So I think that if you're a long UPS, it's not a bad decision, right? You're longing back into a huge demand below. You have a huge trend line to watch out for, to contend with. But if you can clear by this trend line now at 107, this area over here, this is where things can begin to crack. And see some big squeeze upside moves. So again, I'm not long UPS. I don't have a position here. But if you are looking along this chart, it looks really good. It's holding demand now. It's maintaining itself really nicely. Can it build above 106? 106 is your level. If it does, that's your upside trade. Guys, I didn't get a chance to go over Netflix today. I'll go over Netflix on Tuesday. Look, take it easy today. Trade smart. Do the right thing. It's Monday. Be a data collector. Don't go in today's session trying to be the first one to get in trades. Be smart about it. I mean, look, if you see a trade, execute it, right? Don't let me scare you out of a trade, right? But I think that the more data you have off the open, the more effective of a trade you're going to be. Okay, trade smart, and I'll see you guys all for live. Bye, guys.